Hi, everybody. How are you? Welcome back to Soul Therapy with Lady D. How's everyone doing tonight? Everyone doing well on this Monday Madness? There's my notification that I'm on. How is everybody? Everyone good? So I'm not doing readings tonight. However, my king had 2 questions. So I will read those on air for him. But other than that, it's going to be just me talking tonight about this very interesting subject matter that I've been researching for a long time and had personal experiences. But first, whoop, there you are. I do want to ask my king's question. So I do have to bring up, let's see. Where are you? I have to open up my coffee page. Let me do that because I will read for my king. Very interesting questions. Very interesting questions. Okay, my king. My King Dennis would like to know a few things. I guess this is regarding the coronation that I didn't watch because, quite frankly, who gives a bleep? Who really cares about lizards being coronated? Disgusting lizards being coronated. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to do a prayer. So I'm asking the angels, archangels, spirit guides, ascended masters to keep me safe, protect me in the light so I can interpret the cards clearly and unbiasedly. This is the stuff I usually do before I come on air. I'm also asking Archangel Michael, Lord Yeshua HaMashiach, and God to protect me so that nothing evil or nefarious can infiltrate this reading or my guides or trip me. I'm also asking Lord Yeshua and Holy Spirit of God and Archangel Michael to protect my electronic equipment so that all my sound and audio and the live stream and everything goes perfectly, and also the chat. All right. Thank you for the protection, Yeshua, Archangel Michael, and Holy Spirit of God. All right. You can see pics of both of those cues on my Telegram site. Okay. So the question is, pardon me, I have allergies. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys. You don't need to see me blow my nose on camera. Well, one is a pic and the other's a video clip. Okay, so King wanted to know, was it Trump's double that portrayed the Grim Reaper during the coronation of the king over the weekend? Did he also disguise himself as a flamboyant audience member with a Q necklace during the ceremony? Very cool questions. Let's ask. All right, so Dennis would like to know, was it Trump's double that portrayed the Grim Reaper during the coronation of the king over the weekend, which we know is not a king. We know it's a clone. One of the main reasons why I'm doing clones, okay? Was it Trump's double that portrayed the Grim Reaper during the coronation of the king over the weekend? Let's ask. Was it Trump's double that portrayed the Grim Reaper during the coronation of the king this weekend? Very interesting. That fell out, but I'm going to keep on. Was it Trump's double that portrayed the Grim Reaper during the coronation of the king this weekend? I'm just doing these questions for Dennis, and then I'm going to get to it. I'm not doing readings tonight, folks. Okay. No, it wasn't Trump. However, it's somebody that works with Trump, someone that's very close to Trump. That's one of his allies. And it's a big secret. It's hidden. So it wasn't Trump's double, but it's somebody that's very close to Trump. In fact, somebody that works in collaboration with him. That's what I'm getting. And it's somebody that just went through a very big major change. But I'm not getting that that was Trump's double. Okay. It could be somebody that's a military member, because I got a military member, somebody who's in a very unique position, and somebody who's well known for giving charity and being a humanitarian. So it's a humanitarian male close to Trump that's in his camp and has a connection to the military. That's who it was. Okay. So I'm not exactly sure who it was, but so that's the first part. So it wasn't his double. The second part, did he also disguise himself as a flamboyant audience member with a Q necklace during the ceremony? Let's ask. So, did he also disguise himself as a flamboyant audience member with a Q necklace in the ceremony? Did Trump disguise himself as a flamboyant audience member with a Q necklace during the ceremony? Did Trump disguise himself as a flamboyant audience member during the ceremony with the Q necklace during the ceremony? Thank you, my king. You're very sweet. You don't have to do that, but you're very sweet. Thank you, my king. Very sweet. Oh, by the way, I have a picture that I have to give to you from my friend Lisa, who a picture of I'll bring it up on my phone. She said you have to show this to Dennis, and she also, I bet, best friend Lisa subscribed to your channel. She's like, Dennis is the cutest thing. All the girls love you, Dennis. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm getting that the flamboyant audience member was Trump. That was his double. Okay. So Trump wasn't there. However, the flamboyant audience member with the Q necklace was one of his doubles, if one of his clones. Okay. So that's a yes. Yes and a yes. But it wasn't him. It was either a double or a clone. Big time. That's a yes. That's a yes. And also, whoever is playing his Trump's double works with the military. Okay. Also a humanitarian. And it's somebody that has been hidden for a really long time. So the second part of the question is the flamboyant audience member with the Q necklace. That was not Trump, but it's one of the actors or one of the doubles that does portray Trump. And again, somebody who plays Trump, and they did that as a message. They did that as a huge message. That was a wake-up call. That was definitely a plant so people would notice. Very hidden. Nobody knows who it is. It's a secret. Somebody that's been out of the public eye for a while. Somebody that's been hidden and you know, has been held up. Somebody who's a humanitarian and is in a high position of authority in the and is could be military and or he's in a high position of authority. And we're getting, there was a lot of talk, lots of talk about it, and that's why it was done. It was done to get people talking. And it's done because it was a signal to the Q. It was a big signal to the Q community and all those truthers that clear skies are ahead. So that was the message. Okay, so that's great. Now let's look at the Dennis's other question. And thank you for the super coffee, Dennis. You didn't have to do that. You're very sweet. Okay, now the second question, or the third question, since the Queen abdicated her position as leader of England to Trump back in 2017, did she? Ooh, well, of course she did. Not, you know, publicly, but we all know. Is he not the real king of England? That's a great question. Let's ask Dennis. Let's ask. Okay, since the King abdicated her position as leader of England back to Trump in 2017, Is he not the real king of England? Since the Queen abdicated her position as leader of England to Trump back in 2017, is he not the real king of England? Great questions. Oh, Dennis. Yep. This was in the past. This was in the recent past. So, yes, he is the king. Look at that. He's the king. He is. Okay. No one knows about it. It's still hidden, very hidden. Nobody knows. However, they plan on bringing it out into the open, but they're trying to figure out deciding how it's done. There's lots of talk about it, lots of gossip and talk about it. Almost there because we have the 9, so that's a yes. So obviously it hasn't come out in the open yet, but that's a yes. There's your temperance, that's a yes. And that's also a yes. So it's a gift. That was a gift to humanity. Okay, and it's going to be a big surprise. So yes, Dennis. Technically, it already happened, and since the queen, the lizard queen, the atrocious, disgusting POS lizard queen, the P and E, the P and E person, she abdicated her throne back in 2017. So yes, Donald Trump is the king of England. Wow. And I love it. It already happened. I didn't even know that. See, I learn something new all the time. I did not even know that. Wow, Dennis. Big time, big time. Wow. I love the surprises. Love the surprises. This is unbelievable. Thank you very much for the coffees, Dennis, and for the questions. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All righty then. So we are going to close this and we're going to talk about clones. We're going to talk about clones. Clones, 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 clones. Okay, lots of clone talk. Okay, because of the fact that we had the coronation, which I didn't even watch. I did not even watch. Not watch. I didn't watch 1 second of it. Not 1 second. Not one second of it at all. Because why would I? All right, it was all a big horse and poodle show. We know that all of them are really not there. They're all clones and lookalikes and all kinds of things. So we know that that's not the real king. We know that's not the real horse. I don't even call him Charles. I call him Horseface because let's face it, King Charles is not a good looking guy. He has the face of a horse. And that's probably because they're all inbred. Yeah. They wanted to keep it in the blood, right? Anyway, so I do want to make one announcement tonight, and then I'm going to go on. Okay. I'm not going to get on my soapbox, and I'm not going to call anyone out because I don't want to be labeled a bitchy, angry, loose cannon. However, I will make one statement. Calling me a loose cannon is not only rude and uncalled for, it's completely sexist. So if you're wondering why you're in a timeout, it's because I will not tolerate being called a loose cannon on my community page. It wasn't funny. It was very hurtful. It was very insulting. And look up the definition of a loose cannon. And let me know if you would put that on Soldier of Light's comment section, or Dennis's or Jay's. I'm called for. Why is it, again, that a woman says something and she's a loose cannon, she's a bitch, she's angry, but it's okay for males? Not only that, I counsel many, many people, and my clients see my YouTube page. I counsel people all the time. Soul therapy sessions. I work with people that suffered SRA abuse, all kinds of people with mental disorders. Do you really think that that was nice to put on my community section, knowing that some of my clients might have seen that? Just so you know, venting, speaking your truth is very, very, very beneficial to relieve stress. And just because I am very passionate and because I'm an Italian girl, now I've been on stage since I was 4 years old. So I'm never going to be calm like Dennis. I'm never going to be a calm person. I am a passionate woman. And I'm sick and tired of being labeled an angry bitch just because I'm passionate. Okay? If you want me to be a fake person and get up here and go and pretend that I'm calm and be a fake person and I won't get excited and I won't swear, that's not me. If you want fake people in our community, there's many fake people in our community that pretend. They don't swear. They're very calm, but they'll stab you in the back. So I deleted your comment, and I'm not going to call you out, but that's why you're blocked. And you're on a timeout. And I'll decide whether or not you're unblocked. But you're going to think about what you did because it wasn't funny. And if you disrespect me, no, I'm not going to even bother anymore. I'm just going to block your ass because I'm tired of the double standard. And I want everyone to think and look at me, and I'm not fucking playing. If you wouldn't leave a comment on Soldier of Light or Jay or Dennis or any channel with a man that has a dick, don't leave it on mine, you sexist prick. Thank you. And again, if you think I'm angry or a loose cannon, unsubscribe. I don't need you. I don't need to be popular. I'm here for God and my community, not to be popular. I don't care if you like me, but you will respect me. And you can call me a bitch all you want. I wear that with honor. Because the only difference between me and a man is because I have a vagina. So call me a bitch, call me a bitch. Dennis is telling me to take a breath. Yeah, Dennis, you can say take a breath. I'm not you, honey. And all right, it is. It's like high school and it sucks. Anyways, so let's get on to clones. Let's get on to clones. Mind your breathing. Okay. I did. I didn't. I did not. I'm very good. And again, people, when you leave comments in the comment section in the live chat, I love you all. But I don't care who you are. If you wouldn't leave it for Soldier of Light or any man, don't leave it in my comment section. Just saying. I don't care who you are. No double standards. If you don't have the balls to say it to Jason Ramirez, don't have the balls to say it to me. Just saying. I'm done with the sexist bullshit. And don't tell me to calm down. Don't tell me to move on. And don't tell me to take a breath. This is my fucking channel. Period. Moving on. Let's talk about clones. Okay. The reason why I'm doing clones. Okay, so I am an expert on clones. I didn't need to be an expert on clones. However, I had a situation in which I found out that I was friends with a clone for a very, very long time. I didn't know it was a clone. I thought it was the real deal. Okay? Had no idea it was a clone. However, I did have suspicions that something wasn't right. Okay? Okay, so many of you know that I used to be friends who I thought was Bono. This is a long, 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 long time ago. Long time ago, okay? I haven't talked to him in a very long time since I got married. Okay. So people don't know, I met the clone when I was 33 years old because I used to be in music. And I used to sing in a band. And back in the music um, scene back in Massachusetts, what happened is that there was a guy that was part of like an acquaintance of an acquaintance was his brother was business partners was one of business partners with Bono. Hi, Venice. How are you, sweetheart? Okay, so I met him. Okay, spent time with him. Okay, I thought it was the real B. Who wouldn't think it was the real B? I mean, at that point, nobody really knew about clones. Well, maybe Dennis did because Dennis has been awakened for many, many years. Anyway, I thought it was B. Okay. Why wouldn't I think it was B? I met him. He seemed to know a lot of things. However, now going back, a few, looking back, I realized it was a clone. Now people say, how do you know it was a clone? Well, obviously we know that cloning happens. Okay. I'll tell you why all of a sudden my whole life makes sense. Okay. So before I met Bono when I was 33 years old, I wasn't a big U2 fan. I was into dancing. I was into music. I was a dancer. Okay. So I wasn't really into rock and roll music. However, when I turned 24, I started to get into more. I started to get out of the Michael Jackson. I was like I told you, I love Michael Jackson. I was a dancer, but when I got older and I started being in bands, I got away from dancing and I started singing in bands, and that's when I did music. I did music theater and I did burlesque shows, and I was doing all kinds of things. But I got away from the dancing and did more of like on stage and stuff. So one day, okay, so now I will backtrack. Okay, so I remember ever since I was a little girl having a dream about a boy. Now I knew this boy was a singer. I knew this boy and was connected, and I would have very, very vivid dreams. Okay, very vivid dreams. Didn't know who it was. Had no idea who it was. Okay. Now fast forward all these years. Fast forward. So I'm 24 years old. Okay. And I actually turn on MTV. Remember MTV? You guys remember back in the 80s when MTV they actually used to play music and they didn't have these horrible reality shows? Okay. Well, I turned on MTV. Okay. Now I wasn't a big fan of U2. I had watched videos, but I never really paid attention to Bono. So, anyways, I put on MTV and I'm sitting there and there's a video of one, and there's a couple of of the video of one. However, this is the one when Bono is in he's in a bar and it's just him and he's looking at the camera. And all of a sudden, I put on the television, I looked at him, And it dawned on me. I said, oh my God, that's the guy from my dreams. It's him. And then I said to myself, okay, I'm like, what the fuck? Why am I dreaming about Bono? And why was I dreaming about him when I was a little girl? And I didn't even know it was him, but I recognized the eyes. It's like, okay, this is weird. Now, you all know that I've been psychic my whole life and I've known things and so I've had spiritual experiences, but this was crazy. So, needless to say, I was like, wow. And then all of a sudden it was like I saw Bono for the first time. I'm like, holy shit. I wasn't paying attention to him. Woo, he's hot. Whoa, is he hot? What the hell? I haven't been paying attention I'm a new U2 fan. This guy's hot. Wow. And he has beautiful music and I was dreaming about him. So I must have this spiritual connection. So I just all of a sudden since the 24th. So then I went back and I listened to, I bought all the YouTube. It's like I learned about U2 and then I went backwards. And then I watched Rattle and Hum and oh my God, 1987 Bono. And then I went back and I learned everything about him. And I was like, holy shit. Okay. Now, probably when I was 26, 27. And I've seen, okay, so everyone knows that there are psychics that are charlatans and there's really, really, really good psychics. Okay. So I went to a psychic fair. Okay. As soon as I sat down to this one psychic, who people said, you have to see this one psychic. Soon as I sat down, she looked at me without even pulling out the cards and she said, you have a humongous spiritual connection with a famous Irish musician. Before I even sat down, I was like, whoa, whoa. How the hell did she know that? Then she proceeded to name names of my grandmother, my cat. So she knew stuff that she should have never known. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep this in the back of my mind. Okay. Fast forward about 5 or 6 years later, I go to another one who's a medium. Okay. I go to another one. I sit down. She pulls out her cards and she says, you are spiritually, you are married in spirit to an Irish musician, a very, very famous Irish musician singer. That's two. Two. So I'm like, okay, okay, this is fucked. This is fucked. Okay. Then fast forward to I'm about 40. Okay. I'm not to age myself. I didn't get married until I was 40. Okay. If doppelgangers were clones, yeah, maybe doppelgangers are clones, Dennis. I don't know. Could be. Okay. So, fast forward. So whenever my friends tell me that there's a really good psychic, because we all know that there's good psychics and bad psychics. So there was this one psychic that my friend was like, you have to see her. She knows everything. And I'm telling you, I've been blown away with some people. I mean, I can read cards and get downloads, but there are people that like really, really talk to like full-fledged conversations. So anyways, my husband, Mike, saw her first. Okay. He saw her. He goes into the reading. He comes out. And what do you think the lady said? Your wife has a spiritual connection with a very famous Irish musician. Now, people will know that, of course, my husband knew that I was friends with him before I got married. I mean, anybody who knew me knew that I was friends with him and knew that I was a huge U2 fan and I loved Bono. Okay. Anybody who knew me loved it. So before I got married, people knew, my husband knew that I was friends with Bono. Okay. That was part of the deal. I'm like, I'm married. I'm getting married, but you just have to know I have a friendship with this guy. And he was okay with it. But even my husband got that. Then the same psychic again. Okay, now I didn't tell her who I was. I saw her, and what do you think she said to me? So that's 4 times somebody said this to me. So I'm like, okay, there's something to this. Now, during my friendship, when I was friends with the clone, and I'm not telling you this so everyone go, oh, look at me. I used to be friends with the clone. Because I'm not doing this to get attention. I'm doing this so people understand what's going on. Okay? Everybody knows that I'm not a star fucker. I don't give a shit about celebrities. I never have. I don't care. In fact, celebrities suck. I'm telling you this so people understand the nature of clones and how people can get tricked. And because it's a fascinating story that I need to tell people, and no one else will believe me other than the spiritual community. Some people, anyway. Okay. So I always noticed that I used to think he was bipolar. Okay. Because there would be times that I would talk to him and he would be so sweet and so nice. And then would be times that he'd be completely obnoxious and say very, very inappropriate things to me, wanting to. So I used to say, okay, can I talk to the nice one? And needless to say, if anyone knows me, it didn't matter that it was Bono. I would tell him off. I would call him a fucking asshole and say, don't call me if you're going to be a pig. Go fuck yourself. There have been times that he sent me checks and I've ripped up the checks and sent it back to him and said, I can't buy me. He's used to getting what he wanted. And I knew the only way that I was going to be friends with him or keep my honor is if I didn't treat him like a celebrity. And I think that's why he liked me, because I did not treat him like a celebrity. I'd call him an asshole. I'd call him a fuckface. I'd say, lose my number. I'd rip up checks. He'd offer me money. I said, you can stick your money and shove it up your ass. Okay. And the more I said I didn't want that, the more he'd do it. Now, in the meantime, when this was all going on, I was very close with them from like 33 to like 40-ish, because I got married at 40. I was channeling and I was talking to my guides. And one of the things that really, really used to perplex me is that my guides used to say, they would say, there's a difference. They used to say, because I would say, like, I don't understand this. I feel like such a big spiritual connection to this man. And in spirit and in my dreams, it's such a beautiful connection. But then when I talk to him on the phone and when he calls me in person, he can be such an asshole. Like seriously, like clones are fucked. Okay. Because he'd be like nice and then I'd be like, okay, psycho Sybil. So during this time, during the time I was 33 to 40, when I was friends with him, I would also channel. And I never understood why my guides would say, they would say, there's two different people. Two different people. There's SB and real B. So they said, you need to understand spirit Bono and real Bono. And I used to be like, what the fuck? You spirit Bono and real Bono? And they used to be like, spirit Bono knows you, he's connected to you, he loves you, but real Bono doesn't know who you are. And I'm like, who knows who you are, but doesn't know exactly who you are. So I'm like, okay, what in God's name? Okay, so I'm trying to figure this out. So this is what I figured. I figured that the clone, that Bono knew who I was, and that he was connected to me, and that's why we met. Okay. And and I figured that my guides meant that spiritually he knew where I was, but the real one, because he's a famous asshole and he was married, whatever, he really wasn't connected with me. He didn't really know who I was. That was the only way that I could put it in my mind. How else would I understand this? How could I understand what was going on? Real Bono and spirit Bono. Okay. Perplexed me. I had no idea. I wish I still had all these channelings and everything to do, but I threw them all out. I threw everything that I had to do with Bono out, because at one point I thought he was evil. Okay. This was back in December when I first woke, like November, December of last year when I first woke up. Because I'll tell you, I was been spiritual for 30 something years, but I didn't fully wake up, believe it or not, until November. And I became suspicious of Bono after, let's say, after the 2016 election when he started to talk bad about Trump and all that. And I started to go, oh boy. That's when I started to really wonder about him. And I knew that he was not on the right side. But I still kept my faith. I thought he was good because I had this connection with him. Well, needless to say, he's not good. We all know that the nefarious people that he's involved with and the Clintons and things that, I'm not going to say on this channel because I want to keep my channel, but you know what he's doing and you know what he's doing in Africa and it's not helping kids, okay? So, right before I got married, I ended my friendship with him. I've talked to him a few times since I've been married. However, um, the clone didn't like that I got married. And I said, well, tough shit for the clone. So I was like, if you don't like the fact that I'm getting married, then tough shit. I don't care if you're famous. I don't care who you are. So needless to say, that put a damper in our friendship. But that was okay. Now, there before the grace of God that I'm here today to tell you this story. I don't know why the clone didn't do anything to me because he had ample opportunity. He could have kidnapped me. He could have drugged me. He could have tried to rape me. He could have done a lot of nefarious things because I was alone with this clone. So I really believe that I was protected. In fact, I know I was protected, but who protected me? Ding, 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 the real Paul. Now, people say, well, how do you know that this is a clone and the real Paul David Houston? So I'm going to differentiate now. The evil clone is Bono and the real Bono is Paul. Paul David Houston. Paul David Houston that was born May 10th. Wednesday's his birthday. This is another reason why I'm doing this because I want people to know the truth about him. It's about time, full disclosure. And I've been holding this in for a long time. So I'm full disclosure. The real Bono's good. Okay. He's a good guy. Paul David Houston, born May 10th, 1960, was born in a cabal family. He was sold out by some members of his family. His mother was sacrificed at her own father's funeral. Okay. So apparently at age 27, now folks, the 27 club, just saying the reason why all of these people either commit suicide or overdose at the age 27, and there's a thing called the 27th club, is because when you're a famous person and you turn 27, the cabal, the mafia there, you are required to go in balls deep. You're required to do things. That's when, okay, you have to do what you have to do. And if you don't do what you have to do, okay, when you don't do what you have to do, you either get killed or you are suicided, okay? So at age 27, he took off. There was a very independent group of white hats. They weren't called white hats then. The same group, I would imagine, pardon me for blowing my nose on screen, probably the same group that took away a lot of the ones on the, that part of the 27 club. So he took off at age 27 and he hasn't been around ever since. Okay. He never had kids. He never had kids. Those are clones. His family, for money, gave the cabal his DNA. And how do you give someone your DNA? Well, you can hair, skin, spit. But I think they gave a lot more of his DNA. So people say, okay, again, how do you know that this happened? Well, I was under the impression that he was evil. Okay, so back, I would say back last year around November or December, back when Arcana Shores was really swinging and Jason was on and everything was still good on that channel, I asked Kristen a question about Bono. Was not a good answer. He's evil. I was like, oh shit. Then I did a deep dive on him on the DuckDuckGo, the thing, not Google, but the DuckDuckGo. Wow. Yeah. Found out some really, really dark things about him. So the clone has murdered people. The clone seems to be the let's say the hitman for the bad guys. I'm going to not use words because I don't. I want to, I'm not going to use words, but So when I heard that, I flipped. I absolutely flipped. And then I saw a video of Sloan Bella. Okay, so I was doing a deep dive and I'm on DuckDuckGo, and that's how I found Sloan Bella. So there was this video of Sloan Bella, and she was talking about Chester Bennington and Chris Cornell and their deaths. Okay. She said in the video, because she channels dead celebrities. Well, they're supposedly dead, but we know that Chris Cornell is not, and Chester Bennington are not really dead. It was their clones that were killed. However, at this time, we thought they were really dead. And it was, guess who was the one who offed them? Yeah, me. When I heard that, I lost my mind. I lost my mind. I was like, holy shit, oh my God. I just was flabbergasted. I'm like, oh my God. I'm thinking about all these times, like, oh, I was so protected, thank God. I've been thinking about all the things that he could have done to me. All right, anyway. So once I found that out, I lost my mind. So I took, so first of all, I blocked the clone so he could never get in touch. Not that he really called me, but every so often I'd hear from block that. It's like, I'll never take a call from that again. I took everything I could think of. I had autographs. I had pictures. I had backstage things. Because I went to shows. I was backstage. I met the band. I just spent time. And then I was like, holy shit, could I have been fooled? Because literally, this relationship that I had, this spiritual connection that I have was very, very godly. Very, very godly. I would talk to God and I'd be, God, do I really have this spiritual connection? Please show me a sign. And then I'd go in and I'd turn on the radio and it would be one of his songs. I mean, I asked for signs all the time. And all the time, God would reiterate that there is a spiritual connection and he's a good person. And knowing me, I'm a godly person. So, I mean, I'm not perfect. I am not an angel. I'm not a saint, and I don't portray myself to be. But if anyone knows me, I could never love or be associated with an evil person. It's not me. So needless to say, I'm like, how can I be spiritually married and spiritually connected to a fucking evil piece of shit like this? So I was destroyed. Like, talk about the month of December was awful for me. And here my husband's going, what's the matter? Oh, Bono's on. I'm like, fuck Bono. And all of a sudden the people are like, oh, Bono. I'm like, he's an asshole. He's a traitor. And people and all my family are like, what are you talking about? He's your friend. You know him. And I'm trying to tell him, no, he's not good. He's not good. Look, he's associated with, and this one and that one and that one. And of course, because as much as I love my family, because he's famous, oh, well, that's what they do. Really, really? So you hate all these liberal people. You speak out against all these liberal people, but you're going to give him a pass because he's famous. And I was like, what is wrong with you? If me, who has been friends with him, who's loved him, if I'm telling you he's a piece of shit and he's evil, why aren't you believing me? Even my husband. He's like, oh, come on. Well, because he's famous, that's what he does. He has to be liberal. Bullshit. Bullshit. So these people, my husband, my family, some of my friends would make excuses for him as to why he's hanging out with, Big Mike and Big Mike, the person that Big Mike and Big Mike's boyfriend that was our president, and Brandon and that skank Pelosi and all those scumbags, yeah. And the couple and Hillary and all them, yeah. And Gates and all the bad people, Bill Gates and Oprah, all the scumbags. But they seem to, oh, but that's okay. That's okay. No, it's not okay. So anyway, once I threw out everything and I disavowed him, I was like, that's it. And I went into a depression. I did. I admit it, I did, because I was fucked up. Because then at that point, I'm like, oh my God, can I even believe my guides? Did my guides fool me? Who was I talking to? Was it the clones consciousness? I'm confused. Who is it? What's going on? Of course, this is very, very confusing. Not, and there's even, I could go on for hours about different things that the clone did that was crazy. So I will tell you that clones do have access to the regular star's consciousness, but not a lot. Okay, so I'm going to finish the story and then I'm going to tell you all about clones and what I know about clones. So, I threw out everything. I disavowed him, didn't talk to him again, told everybody, pretty much he was an asshole. He's not who you think he is. Went into my depression and that was that. I mean, I wouldn't even listen to if the song came out on the radio, I turn it off. If he looked at, nothing to do with him. Okay. Then, I don't know, sometime in March, my friend Lori texts me, Lori Williman, who's in the chat. And she says to me, Delphine, I have a video that I want you to watch from Queen of Ravens. She said, I know, and she didn't tell me, but I had a live that night. She's like, I waited until you didn't have your live because I didn't want to upset you, but there's a video about Bono I really think that you need to watch. And it was on Tom Numbers. Now, Lori she doesn't belong to Tom Numbers. She's not subscribed to Tom Numbers. It just happened to come up in her feed and she happened to watch it. And she doesn't really watch Tom Numbers and Tarot by excuse me, I'm not supposed to say that, Queen. Have to be careful. She happened to watch it and she's like, Delphine, you have to watch this. I said, okay, I'll watch it. In the video, Queen of Ravens, Tom Numbers said, hey, I want to ask you about Bono. I met him. He used to be a really nice guy. He's looking really gross and whatever. She wanted to do a reading. It was Janine. She got in her reading that he was born in a cabal family. He was tricked into it. There's nothing you can do about it. And I think it was an uncle or something, and he took off in 1987. He's been gone since 1987. And he's really good, and he's been cloned. So I was like, oh my God. So I watched this video. I'm like, holy shit. Is this true? Is this true? Is this true? I don't know what to believe. Do I believe this? I do. I don't know what to think. Right. I mean, I think she is a phenomenal tarot reader. Okay. Janine is the godmother. So I tend to believe her. Whether or not you like her, she's a phenomenal card reader, Janine. Okay. So that's when I said, okay, I have to ask God. So I had a talk with God and I said, God, listen, I don't know what to believe now. I'm really, really confused. Really, really confused. Is this true? Is he really good? And did he really take off in 1987 and the clone took over ever since? And it's not him. And when I ask for a sign, I go like this. I go, God, and I say, and let the sign be so unbelievable and so direct that I know it's from you and without a doubt. And then I leave it alone. I don't dwell on it. I just go about my day and I always get my sign. So about an hour later, I'm at my house. And for some reason I was thinking because I was looking at a video and I remember in the video it said that when we ascend or when we get to the other side, our bodies are going to go back to the way we looked when we're 30. So I'm thinking, oh wow, I'm looking at my saggy boobs and my weight gain, and I'm looking, oh God, I used to look like when I was 30. My boobs were up here, they weren't as big, I had a tight ass. So I'm like, okay, I want to see some pictures. So in my closet I have a thing of photos. So I went and opened up the box. I put my hand in the box. Hold on. I'm going to actually get what I showed you. Hold on. I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to show you what I picked because you won't believe it. Hold on a second. I'm back. Sorry, guys. A picture is worth more than 1,000 words. Okay. So I went through everything. And I threw out everything, all my channelings, oh my God, like all my autographed pictures, my autographed albums, everything I had to do with Bono. So I went and I opened up my box to get a picture of when I was 30. And what do you think I pulled out? Look at that. There's your sign. Not only is it U2, look at the date. Joshua Tree, 1987. I reached in and I pulled out this. So, what do you think? I think that's a sign. So yeah, it's true. When I got this sign, and usually when I get signs from God, I felt the presence of God, and I went down on my knees and I cried for about a half hour and cried and cried and cried and cried. So it's true. It's absolutely true. Now, I did my own reading to confirm it. Of course, it's true. Got this confirmed. So, after Soldier of Light's 4-hour live last night, I was texting with them, and I asked about Paul on his thing, and whenever I have a question, so Jason, Soldier of Light, if he has a question, he'll ask me, and I'll ask him. That's the new thing we have because I trust him, and he's a phenomenal card reader, and I'm very honored that he considers me. I mean, the fact that he comes to me is an honor. It's just an honor because he is the king of tarot. So anyway, I asked him if he would he'd do a reading on it. I said, listen, I have this, I need clarity. I pretty much, Janine said it, I said it, but I would just make me feel a lot better if I got a confirmation from you. And he said, sure. It's true. And Jason even said that it was his own family that gave up his DNA for money when he left. His own family gave his DNA to be cloned for money. So, long story short, Paul David Hewson, the real B, left in 1987. You will notice that we went from nice, God-fearing, beautiful, long-haired, nice, quiet Bono of the Joshua Tree. And then 2 years later, you get a bug-eyed, dressed up like Mephisto the devil, smoking a cigarette, asshole, piece of shit. Makes sense now. You don't believe me? Look at 1987 Bono and then look at Joshua Tree Bono and then look at Actung Baby. Night and day. And he was one of the first to dress up as a devil on stage. He did Mephisto. And he dressed up in horns and acted like the devil. He was one of the first. Okay, so that's my story. Now, because of all this, I was like, because I've lived this and I'm curious, minds want to know. I have done the last 6 months so much research on clones. Everything I could possibly think of clones, because I need to know what I experienced, what's this, because I know that Paul left in 1987. However, there are things that the clone has access to. He still has access a little bit to that I was confused about. So this is that you should know about clones. Okay. So most of the celebrities and all our politicians, all world leaders have been cloned. Now they started cloning sheep back in 1950. But what people don't know is they started cloning people in 1958. We all know where they do it. There's cloning stations in underground bunkers. They're military bases. Anybody who's anybody, and I'm talking everybody, has been cloned. If they were not cloned with their will, they were cloned against their will. This is how they control the baddies and the people. So, and guess who's in charge of, or who was in charge of all the cloning centers? I'll give you one guess. I'll give you a guess. Her horse-faced son was just coronated last weekend. Yeah. Lizzie, Lizard Lizzie. She was the head of the cloning. She loved her clones. Yeah, she did. Hunting parties, all kinds of things. Yeah. Okay, so everyone is cloned, most against their will. And I will say that a lot of them don't even know they were cloned. A lot of them were brought down to these bunkers where it happens, and they were told one thing, and then they were held against their will. Now, the celebrities that left before, they left before they had to do what they had to do. They were cloned. However, when clones are made, they need consciousness, okay? Because, so big bad Satan, they can clone people and they can create fake human beings. But the one thing that Satan and the deep dark cult they can't create souls. They can't create consciousness. Okay, they cannot create consciousness. So what do? So when somebody's cloned, they take a little bit of their consciousness into the clone because in other words, it wouldn't be animated. So they need a little bit of consciousness in the clone. So what they will do to these celebrities is that they will do rituals. They will RA, they will SA them. The SADA through the back. Okay, I'm being graphic now, but when you sodomize somebody, you go all the way up to their crown chakra. And when you do that and you trauma the crown chakra, you fragment a soul. You fragment them. When you give them MK Ultra, you fragment. When you repeatedly SA a young child who's in a cabal family or an adult, you fragment them. So what happens? Or when some of these celebrities, world leaders, whatever, when they make a contract and they, okay, let all souls belong to God. Okay, you can't sell your soul. However, you can make a contract with the devil. And when you make a contract with the devil and you say, I will worship, the big bad guy, what happens is that, first of all, a lot of them probably don't take it seriously, but it is serious. So when a celebrity or a person says, okay, I'm going to do this, or takes part in any type of ritual, or is a part of, any type of Santa ritual, whatnot, what happens is that when they agree to it, what happens is that they don't lose their soul, because the soul does not belong to you or the bad guy. It belongs to God. So you can never sell your soul. However, your soul is this way. Your soul will be pushed to the side, and that other consciousness will be here. So that's why you see people going nuts, like Yay and Britney Spears and all these, all these stars that like lose their mind, and they're like doing all kinds of crazy things. It's because they're fragmented, because they're not in their right minds. They're fighting to get full control of their mind. So another thing, if a clone is made of somebody and they've taken off and they don't have access to that person anymore, such as Paul, okay? If they don't have access to their consciousness, they need another consciousness to enter the clone, because they don't have a soul. They need souls. And that's one thing that Satan, the bad asshole, he can't create souls. He can't create anything. He just lies, deceits, destroys people, but he can't create a soul. That's God and God only. So what they do is they will take another consciousness and they will insert it in the clone so they can control it. Now in comes the Vril lizard. The Vril. The Black Hat, the Black Eye Society. You know what I'm talking about. So, Vril lizards. A Vril is there's three types of Vril lizards. They are lizards that have been living underground for millions of years. They were around back in probably ancient times. Some of the Vril lizards are about this big, some are bigger. They're dumb. They are part of Satan's army, okay? They're demons. Their whole point is they're bad. However, Vril lizards, they're so ugly and disgusting. They want to be in human bodies because we're beautiful. We're beautiful. So they willingly will go into humans. And how do they do this? So what the baddies do is this: if a world leader or a celebrity or somebody won't toe the line, they will hold them down and they will let the Vril lizard into their eye and take over their consciousness until they're dead. So, half of our celebrities and most of our real leaders are Vril lizards in clones. They're not even the consciousness of the bad person. Now, people say, well, how does this happen? So the Vril lizard has a little proboscis on the top of its head. They'll hold down the person and it goes through the eye, wraps around the optical nerve, and goes into the brain and immediately kills the person, and the Vril lizard takes over. That's what's in evil monoclone, is a Vril lizard. Now, anybody who talks about clones has to know the name Donald Marshall. Okay, Donald Marshall is, look up Donald Marshall and cloning on DuckDuckGo. And he will let you know all about it. Some people say he's full of shit. I don't think so. I think he's definitely one that knows what he's talking about. So he's one of the littles that has been part of he's been, so to speak, part of this. So half of the clones that are running around don't even have the consciousness of the people. They are literally lizards. Literally lizards. And the reason why they're so egregious, the reason why they can do all these disgusting things is because they're soulless demons. Okay, here's another thing about clones that you don't know. When somebody's cloned and the person is still alive and they've taken most of their consciousness, okay? So this is, for instance, so if somebody is alive and they've cloned them real time, they're still alive here on 3D, and they've taken their DNA and cloned them. If they have access to the real person, they will keep kidnapping the real person and taking more and more of the consciousness, okay? So the consciousness is fragmented. Now, exactly how do they do this? I don't know exactly how the process is, but from what I've read, they have technology that does this. They also have they go into the astral and they do a lot of things. We all know that they have a lot of technology because look it was the deep dark cult that did that whole grid around the earth that they started the reincarnation thing, okay? So we know that the deep dark cult has spiritual gifts. Unfortunately, they know how to do this. The deep dark cult has literally trapped souls in cabal families, and they will not let the soul go to God. They literally are stuck in this reincarnation loop, and so the same souls keep on being born into these families. So literally, these souls don't have a chance. Just so you know. So if we know that they have that technology to do that, we know that they have the technology to take over someone's consciousness and put it into a clone. Now, this is where it gets really, really egregious and awful, as if it wasn't even egregious enough. So if a celebrity does not toe the line and doesn't want to do the egregious things that they want to do, they can torment and they can, torture. They can torture physically the celebrity. They can torture the clone. And when they torture the clone, the celebrity or the person can feel it. So in other words, let's say they had a clone of Brandon. Okay, Brandon, which we know is, anyway. So they have the clone of Brandon. Brandon says, no, I don't want to do what you want to do. Okay, they don't even need to have Brandon around. They can go, oh, really? Kind of like a voodoo doll. They can take the clone and go zit, 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 and Brandon will feel it. Sounds like science fiction, folks, but it's true. So that is how they control the people. They torture them into submission. So a lot of these celebrities did not go into this willingly, okay? I'm not saying that all of them. Some of them were born into cabal families and they had no choice, and this is part. They've been SRA'd and abused since birth. Okay, since they were kids, babies probably, sick as it is. But the ones that weren't born in cabal families and they just get to a certain point and they become famous, what will happen is that's what they'll do. They'll clone them, and if they don't toe the line, they torture them until they do what they do, to do what they do, whatever egregious acts. And then sooner or later, especially, there's something about the age 27. Now, the big age of the 27. If there's some kind of if anybody wants to be anybody, and if they reach a certain stature, famous, they have to murder and perform a sacrifice at 27. Okay. You can get away up until 27 with sacrificing chickens and animals and doing things and not doing the bad stuff. But once you turn 27, there's something about this age. You're required to sacrifice, and it can't be, read between the lines of what you need to do, okay? And if you don't, you're dead. You're dead. Okay. So some people say, okay, so it makes sense now of how all these celebrities that supposedly are dead are not dead. And people say, well, wait a minute. Paul Walker's dead. Everybody saw the body. Or John Belushi's dead. Or blah, blah, blah. This one's dead. That one's dead. Come on. They didn't kill the celebrities. They killed the clones. These celebrities were very, very smart. So what they knew they were cloned. So what did they do? They knew that their time was up. So they stepped out the back, Jack. They made a new plan stand, took off, put the clone in their place. So the clones were killed, not them. They did the whole switcheroo. So people say, well, what are you talking about? You know, the celebrities didn't have access to their clones. No. The deep, dark baddies knew that the real ones took off. And so in order to justify them taking off, they will keep them around a little while as a clone. But what happens is that they have to kill them off. Because if the celebrity's still not here in the 3D, they don't have access to their consciousness and they can't really control them. So it's harder and harder to get rills and everything. So they really want the actual consciousness of the human being. Because they can work with the real lizard, but they would actually rather have the consciousness, the real consciousness of the actual individual. So that's why they murder them. Because they know that they don't have access to their consciousness. So they will just say, okay, we can't work with them. So they'll let the clone run around for a little while. And then afterwards, if the clone doesn't suit them, then they'll say, okay, so they'll off the clone. So all these people that supposedly die, and they say, well, they have these bodies. They didn't die. Clone. All clones. So just think about that. JFK Jr. Do you really think he was flying the plane? Nope. Clone. He was one of the smart ones. He was able to have access to his clone, and he put the clone. And don't think Carolyn wasn't cloned either. Just saying. Everybody that was big is cloned. So that's the deal with clones. Now, yes, clones are programmable. However, they can only go so far. Now, everybody knows the video of Katy Perry. Remember when she's like this and she went, and all of a sudden, you know, she adjusted herself? If that was not the best display of a clone malfunctioning, then I don't know what was. That was absolutely a clone of Katy Perry malfunctioning. I would say probably 90% of our celebrities and everyone running around are clones. We don't have clones. Now, they are programmable. However, they're not, let's put it this way, it's a lot easier to work with a clone that has a little bit of the consciousness of the actual person than it is to just program a clone. Because again, a programmed clone is still going to act very robotic. Look at Katy Perry. So that's why they would rather have the celebrities around, because they can still gain access to their consciousness. Okay? So the big question is, How can we tell a clone from a human being? I wish I could tell you. I mean, maybe now we can look at them and see them. I think it's pretty obvious now. But I will tell you, when I was friends with, I had no idea. Maybe, if I knew what I knew then, I knew back then what I know now, I probably would be able to tell. But I gotta say, there's not really much, unfortunately, a way to tell. But I will say now that in hindsight, it makes really, really sense at why he was so bipolar, why he was nice one minute and an ass the next minute. Another thing that people need to know about clones. There are some people that say that the white hats don't work with clones. And I call bullshit. And you want to know why I'm going to call bullshit? And case in point, I will give you 2 words. Elon Musk. Elon Musk is 2.0. Elon Musk is a clone. The real Elon Musk was killed. Elon Musk is a clone that's being controlled by the white hats. If you say Elon Musk 2.0, it's a clone. There's your proof that the white hats work with clones. They do. Now, the white hats do not create clones because it goes against God. However, the clones that have already been made and created have been taken over by the white hats and have been reprogrammed. So anyone who says that the white hats do not work with clones, I'm sorry, you're wrong, and proof Elon Musk, period. They reprogrammed Elon Musk. Elon Musk was infiltrated with AI. He was a humongous demon. Do you ever wonder why Elon Musk went from good to bad and why they say Elon Musk 2.0? Well, there you go. Donald Trump has clones. Sorry, he does. That are for the good. So there are clones. The white hats do use clones. People say, oh, they don't. They do. The difference is that they don't create clones. They don't create clones because cloning is against God. However, there was all these clones when they went down and they took over the facilities and took over the facilities. They had all these clones. You mean to tell me they're not going to use all these clones? They're not going to reprogram them? Sorry, you're wrong. They do. And anyone who argues with me, I'm just going to say Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, period. So they do use clones. They have reprogrammed lots of clones. Just saying. Donald Trump has his future and past persons. He doesn't need clones, in my opinion. No, he doesn't need clones, but he does have a clone. A few clones, just saying. And the only reason why he has clones is because for body double purposes, because he's going everywhere. And another thing about Donald Trump is a huge time traveler. Okay? Donald Trump, we all know his father was John Trump. I mean, not his father, his uncle. And many of you might probably know this, but if you don't, so John Trump, when Tesla, okay, when Tesla died, was it Tesla? Yes. What's Mikhail, what's Tesla's first name? When he died, okay, he had boxes and boxes with all his inventions, all his technology. An hour after Nikola Tesla died, Donald Trump's uncle, who worked for the government, John Trump, went in and took, thank you, Nikola Tesla. He took 4 cases of information from Tesla that he wanted to make sure did not land in the nefarious hands of many of our CIA government. Okay, so Donald Trump's uncle, John Trump, went in right after Tesla died, and poor Nikola Tesla died in like a shitty apartment broke because everyone fucked him over. I mean, Edison stole his shit. Everyone, the government, that poor bastard did so many he was unbelievable. He made so many discoveries, but he died a pauper, literally. So long story short, John Trump went in, stole about 3 or 4 boxes of his stuff, and left the rest. But he took the best stuff. He took all the time travel information. So people go, how does Trump do it? He goes from here, he goes to there, he's there. I'm just going to say the Trump family has had access to all the time travel information from Nikola Tesla since when did Nikola Tesla die? Since the day that Nikola Tesla died. So just wrap your head around that one. John Trump was the father of Julian Assange. Ooh, and the plot thickens. I did not know that. Wow. Wow. I did not know that. Now that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Wow, Dennis, I did not know that. I did not know that. Oh, and you know, another thing, Nikola is still alive. He is. Wow. I'm sure he's still alive. He probably took off somewhere. They probably took him to another place. He's still alive. Wow, that's cool. So the Trump family has had access to time travel technology. They had the key. So when people say that Donald Trump's a time traveler, and do you know who was always best friends with Donald Trump? JFK Jr. Jr. The Kennedy family had it too. Another tidbit, you probably already knew this, but I found this out, and this is very 3D. But did you know that Gavin Gruesome is, I call her Bella Pelosi's nephew? I didn't know that gargoyle that used to be the Speaker of the House, and Gavin Gruesome, that's her nephew. I did not know that. Makes a lot of sense now, doesn't it? I just learned that. Here we go. Chrissy says they were friends with Princess Diana too, and she faked her death. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. All in the family. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. Hold on. Trump also takes trips to one of the Jupiter moons. Yep. I believe it. I believe it. Moonchild in me says Trump is from the Christ bloodline. I've heard that. I've actually heard that Christ is part of the Trump bloodline. You're right, Vicky. I've heard that too. I kind of believe it. I believe that could really happen. So, very interesting. So what else can I tell you about clones? If you want to know like I would suggest if you want to get into the deep nitty gritty, you look up Donald Marshall cloning and you'll find out, well, he'll tell you stories. Now, the thing about the vril lizard, and this will make sense as to why they're all disgusting and they don't care. Vril lizards are very horny bastards. They're horny. They have no morals and they will screw anything. They like to screw. Sorry. So makes sense as to why they would choose the vril lizard because all the orgies and all the disgusting things that they do at these parties. Okay, folks, reality is stranger than fiction. What I just said everything that I just spoke about sounds like a fucking sci-fi novel or a movie, but it's true. It's reality, and we all know it. So, if you want to learn more about clones, even more so than what I said, look up Donald Marshall clothing on cloning on DuckDuckGo. He was one of the kids, one of the littles that that is part of that, I hate to say. Now, people say, okay, why all of a sudden are you coming out now? Why, you kept it in for so long. Why you coming out now? Well, I'm at the point now that I'm like, fuck it. Listen, I know that that evil thing running around is not the real him. And poor Paul, what he got his life stolen from. Okay, they sacrificed his own father, sacrificed his mother when he was 11 years old. Okay, they never spoke about his mother again. His father had an affair with his aunt and had an illegitimate kid. Okay, all kinds of shit. Oh, and another thing, Allie Houston, Bono's wife, male. She was born male. She's not a girl. Allie Houston, the clone's wife. She's from a Cabal family. You don't believe me? Look at a picture at her recently. There's one thing that Sloan Bella has really, really let me. I mean, she's phenomenal. If you want to, if you want to learn how clones work in consciousness and how the clones go through the celebrities and everything, I'm telling you, Sloan Bella, as I've said 1,000 times, wealth of information. But this is it. So that's the story. So his wife was also born in a Cabal family. She was his handler. I believe that she was transitioned when she was a young girl. And so, yes, if you look at her now, you can see that she was born male. One thing Sloan Bella said, which is true, you can tell, especially with women, as they get older, as they age, you will be able, looking at the face and the neck, you will be able to tell which celebrities and famous people, especially women, were born men. If you look at a picture, now okay, look, first of all, okay, so if you want to see a disgusting picture, go to the White House. They had this big extravaganza in which Bono got an award, the evil clone got an award. Okay. Clone Bono is disgusting. He's ugly as shit. Okay, anyways, because Bono was beautiful. But you look at the clone, take a look at these pictures of he and his wife, okay? Look at his wife and tell me she ain't a man. Just saying. You can tell. Look at all the celebrities, people, all these actresses as they age. You look at their faces as they age. You can tell they were not born female. So I'm telling this story because I think people ought to know the truth. Because poor Paul, his mother was killed. He was made to marry a man. He suffered SA and abuse, SA abuse, SRA abuse. He lost his mother. His father didn't give a shit about him. He was forced into a family with a handler. And then what does he do? They take his life. They say, you do this. So he had to take off. So he had his whole life stolen from him at his peak at 27, right after the Joshua Tree tour. Gone. He received his Grammy and he created this beautiful group and he had to walk away from his life and they stole his life. And so now he has an evil clone portraying to be him running around performing all these egregious acts. I'm doing this because I want people to know the truth, that the real Paul is good. And what you're seeing running around is an evil representation of him. And why I'm near and dear to me, because I have a spiritual relationship with him and I love the real person. I thought I met the real person, but I didn't. I met the clone. And I hope someday when we ascend, I will meet the real Paul. And I will give him a real big hug and kiss and tell him I'm sorry for what happened to him. But I'm speaking out because poor Paul has lost enough, and his birthday's coming up on May 10th. And I think people should know. Now, I figured if Queen of Ravens, she has what, I don't know, 30 plus followers, 1,000 followers, and she's on Tom numbers, right? If she said it a month ago, and she has a lot more people watching her and Tom numbers than I do. Why can't I? Why can't I say it? In fact, I think I should say it because I have a firsthand account of it. I have a personal relationship with this person. So that's why I'm saying it. And that's my story. So that being said, look at Michael. Big Mike. I think that's pretty obvious. Oh, you totally believe Donald Marshall? Cecilia, I'm 10 minutes late with the live, but I totally believe Don Marshall. He has resonated with me. Yes, Don Marshall is a clone. He's been through it. So look up Don Marshall. Look at Michael Obama. Well, we all know that it's Big Mike. We all know it's big, big white. Obama's white. So you do know that the reason why, so you know the plan is that they want out with Brandon because they want Big Mike to be our next president. You know that, right? That's the plan. They wanted to get rid of Brandon so Big Mike can be the president, but that's not going to happen because we know what's going to happen very soon. Chuck says, Adam's apple present in a lot of women. Yes, yes, there is. Now, one of the big ones is I've been deep diving Paul Walker since I found out that he's still alive, and I did that. And so I was looking at some of his movies, and the woman who played his love interest back when he was in the movies, she has a full-fledged Adam's apple. Now, many of the women, they shaved their Adam's apple. However, it's never completely shaven. It's never completely down. So as a woman age, you'll notice that their necks get really weird. Like they get like these veiny, bony necks, and there's like a little lump here. So really look. Like one of the biggest things that the dead giveaway that Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner was going to transition is one of the things that they caught him doing first was that he was shaving his Adam's apple. But you're right, Chuck. That's one giveaway. But also look at their faces. Do you think that he's with the White Hats? Paul? Oh, absolutely. Paul is probably hiding with all the other rest of the celebrities that have faked their deaths. He's probably with Paul Walker and John Belushi and everyone. Robin Williams, all Anthony Bourdain. No, on Lori Williman's Instagram today, she has a list of people that have celebrities and well-known VIPs and world leaders that has faked their deaths. So those people are all with the White Hat somewhere. They're in hiding somewhere for sure. Lori goes, "Yep." Now, I don't know about their families. Like, for instance, I don't believe that they clone like their. Well, let's put it this way. If they're married to a biological man and they need to have kids, yes, they'll clone their kids. But I do think that, like for instance, you know, Paul Walker's wife, if he was cloned, I don't think that they know that they're clones. I think that if somebody's, step out the back jack and they take off and then the clone comes in, I don't think, that the dead celebrities are going to let their families know that there's a clone. I just think that probably the clone just shows up, and I would think that they would figure out that that's not really them. But I will tell you one instance, and I read about John Lennon and Paul McCartney. And here's a good story about a clone. So I read that, okay, so Paul McCartney, I don't know if it's well known, but a lot of people know that the real Paul McCartney died a long time ago. Okay, a long, long time ago. He was killed in a car accident. And because they wanted the Beatles, this is when the Beatles were really taking off, where they really first started to become famous. And there was a car accident and Paul McCartney was killed. They inserted the clone. Now, John Lennon did not know this at the time, but they all got suspicious because when the clone came back, and this is documented, John Lennon tried to talk about personal things that happened between he and Paul McCartney, and the clone didn't know. John Lennon knew something was up. At first, he thought that maybe there was some kind of amnesia because there was an accident, but no. They, and even George Harrison and all the other Beatles, was it George Harrison and Ringo Starr? They all knew something was up. They knew that that wasn't the real Paul. You know how that there's I forget which album, and I remember all this stuff when I was little, and I used to think this was all bullshit and just, story and legend. But there's one thing, Paul is dead. If you rewind one of the Beatles albums, is Paul is dead. It's true. Britney Spears, yep, she's another one. I said this probably about my 2 lives ago. Britney Spears was in a car accident with Justin Timberlake and she was decapitated. And what did they do? Insert clone. Yep, the real Britney Spears. Poor thing. She was gorgeous. You really, and you know what? It's very noticeable. You look at the original Britney Spears and then you look at what they brought in. Another big one, Eminem. That's not him. When Eminem's song, "Who's the real shady? I'm the real shady, and who's the real shady? And I'm the real shady. Please stand up. Please stand up. Please stand up. Please stand up. Who's the real shady? Am I the real shady? Is he the real shady? Are they the real shady? Who do you think they're talking about? Please stand up. The real Slim Shady." He's talking about clones. Yep. It's there. And it's like, it's this little, if you really think about it. Oh, another thing. And I think I said this too. I was watching an interview and they were talking about Michael Jackson. And the reason why Michael Jackson kept on changing his face, people thought he didn't want to be black, all this stuff that he had vitiligo, he didn't want to be black, he wanted to be white. No, he kept on changing his face because he didn't want to be replaced by the clone. And every time he got plastic surgery, he knew that they would have to create another clone that would look like him. So that's why he did it. He kept on changing his face because he knew that if he didn't toe the line, they would get rid of him. And if he kept on getting plastic surgery, they couldn't keep up with the clones. So that's why he kept changing his face. It makes sense now, doesn't it? That's right. They killed Marshall Mathers because he didn't want to sign on the dotted line, just like all the others. Yep. So people will say, well, how are we going to get rid of all these clones? Well, eventually, I think that once the big event happens, they will all be obliterated. But I do think that if they're not killed by the white hats or deprogrammed, or that, I think that once the event happens, whatever it is, the pulse, the the solar flash, I don't know, whatever event's going to happen, I think they'll all be obliterated. I think it will all be revealed. Um, but that's what I know about clones. I'm probably leaving some stuff out. But I think that's pretty much the bulk of it. So, in a nutshell, I thought for all this time I was friends with Bono. Nope, wasn't. And all I can say is thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, my guardian angels. And thank you for Paul for protecting me. because there before the grace of God, I could have ended up. It scares me to think where I could have ended up. So thank the Lord God, I'm here. I used to be very, very angry, very, very angry because I had a relationship of this like spiritual connection with somebody that I never understood. And now it makes a lot of sense. Um, so just so you know, spiritual friendships and relationships, they exist. You don't necessarily have to meet the person in 3D to be connected spiritually. So I would say, when I went to different readers, they said that, I've been with Paul in past lives, and we are twin flames. And here's another thing. Yeah, he's my twin flame. And here's where I'm going to go on my twin flame tangent. Twin flames were not meant to get together and be romantically involved in this life. Twin flames are all about coming back, undoing the negative karma, the negative timeline twists, so that when you ascend, you can do what you have to do in spirit. Twin flames, you might meet your twin flame. You might be in a very brief relationship with your twin flame in this life, but twin flames will never, ever be together on this physical plane. If you think you're with your twin flame, you're not. You're with your soulmate. Because twin flame, and I'll say this before, it's a spiritual connection. A spiritual connection, it's an unconditional love. It has nothing to do with getting together in this life, getting married and having babies. No, it has nothing to do with that. The reason why you know your twin flame in this life is because you have to get rid of the negative karma. You have to balance out each other's souls. So a twin flame, the difference between a soulmate and a twin flame, okay? Twin flames is that you are born at the same time. When God creates a soul, you have a masculine and a feminine, okay? So you're always connected. So it has nothing to do with romance. And like I said, and getting together and being together in this life. No, 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 no. It isn't. That's why twin flames are a tormented, horrible situation. Because when you meet your twin flame, you're going to be married, they're going to be married, they're going to live across the world, they'll be older than you. You will never, ever, ever be together in this life. So it drives me insane when I see I'm going to call Mystic Arts there, not the ones that the website that Ishmael Perez was on. They had these two people. This was like back in September when I didn't know any better. And they did a twin flame class, and I took it because I was just curious. And I was on there for 10 minutes and I called bullshit and I logged off. I'm like, you know what? I should be teaching this class because half of the shit that you hear about twin flames is fluff, fantasy, romantic bullshit. Oh, my twin flame. No, you don't want your twin flame. It is not fun. It will fuck you up in the mind. It is a mind fuck. I would do anything to not have known what I know now. I would have done anything to just meet a soulmate and get married. But the reason why I'm here is because I know that I had to help him because he's in a cabal family, because of what has happened to him. I'm here to help him. I don't even know. I don't even know what I'm doing. I must be doing something when I'm sleeping because I know that we're visiting each other while we sleep. So I'm helping his soul karmically, I think, to untwist and whatever. And that is the role of soulmates. I mean, twin flames. Sorry, twin flames they help balance out the soul. So that's why we're here. Okay, just so you know. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't love my husband, and it doesn't mean that you know, like I said, it doesn't mean that if you have a twin flame that you can't love or have a soulmate, and it doesn't mean that, you're going to be ever forever be miserable. It's a divine love. It's beyond this world. So there you have it. So there's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And again, why am I doing it now? Because people need to know the truth. That poor guy lost his whole life. He walked away for his life, had everything stolen from him. He had his family give up his DNA for money, and he didn't even have kids. They cloned kids. This poor man is watching from a dimension somewhere, watching this evil, disgusting thing run around being him. How would you feel? How would you feel if they cloned you and you had to run away and you had to watch somebody portraying to be you do all these disgusting things? So I feel bad for him. So that's why I'm saying it. So everyone needs to know that so there's a difference. So I will never use the term Bono again because that's an evil piece of shit. And just so you know, I will not listen to music, any U2 song that beyond 1987 because I know it wasn't really written. And another thing, most of the good songs were written before he left. All right. I've been on for 2 hours now. That went by quick. You're burning a lot of sage now. Burning a lot of sage now. So, needless to say, I'm looking forward to the ascension because I want to meet Paul and I want to give him a big hug and say, I am so sorry what you went through, dude. And I hope that somehow I helped you. So that's that. Now, people say, okay, so how did, why did you meet? So I have to believe that I met the clone because there must be some kind of consciousness. And so I would assume that maybe the clone had some kind of recollection of me or maybe recognized me because it was kind of weird that I happened to meet the clone anyway. It was very weird. It was kind of divine intervention. So, um, I don't know the amount of consciousness, but I have to know that there is a little bit of consciousness in that clone. And another thing too, God can, God can access a clone. God can put downloads into clones. And I'll tell you one last story and then I'm going to call it a night. So back when I was back in my 30s, before I met my husband, I lived with a man for about 9 years. And this is when I was really, really close with the clone. Long story short, um, uh, I was breaking up with my boyfriend and we decided to call it quits, and I was moving out of my beautiful condo and I couldn't afford it on my own and I was really pissed off and I was not in a good frame of mind. And the clone was acting like a real prick. And so I told the clone off, I'm like, listen, I hate you. I hate all men. I hate you. I hate my boyfriend. And I was really, really pissed off and I was really in a bad way and I was feeling sorry for myself. Okay. And when I get mad and when I get upset, I talk to God. And I've told you before, when I talk to God, I will talk to God the way I talk to you. I will swear, I will curse, I will be like, what the fuck? I'm not afraid of God. I'm really not afraid of God. I figure if he can forgive people that have committed murder and done egregious things, he can handle me swearing and saying, what the fuck, God? And just like any other parent, God would rather have you talk to him when you're pissed off and angry than talk to the other one or not talk to him at all, just like any parent, right? So I said a prayer. I was talking to God and I was like, listen, I'm like, I am done with men. I'm pissed off at you. I'm pissed off at what's the situation with this jerk? And I had it. I took down every YouTube poster, everything. And I was like, fuck, no, fuck men. I was so upset. Okay. That's how I talked to God. Now, that same night, U2 was opening up for Saturday Night Live, and they were the musical guest. This was back in 2009, in September of 2009. Now, everyone knows that I live in Massachusetts, and SNL is they say it's live, but it's really not live. They they record it a little bit before live. So like say if SNL goes at 11 o'clock, they'll pre-record it at 9 o'clock. It's really not live. It's sort of live. Long story short. So anyway, I knew that U2 was going to perform on SNL. And I said, God, I'm not watching it. I'm not watching him. I'm done with him. I'm not listening to his songs. I'm not doing anything. I'm pissed off at you. I have this connection with this man that I don't understand. He's an asshole. I have an asshole boyfriend. What the fuck, God? That's how I was. And I was bullshit. And I said, I'm not watching SNL. And I was determined. So anyway, at that time, I was smoking cigarettes, right? So 8 o'clock comes on, 9 o'clock. I'm pissed. I'm smoking cigarettes, smoking joints, smoking cigarettes. I was bullshit, mad at the world. All of a sudden, I get a download from God. Put on the television and put SNL on. And this is me. No, God, I know you want me to watch him, and I'm not going to watch him. I'm tired of you leading me to him. I'm done with the bullshit. This is how I talk to God. Me, how dare I, right? Again, put on the television. No, I'm not putting on the television. Okay? The third time, I'm not, and I didn't hear a voice. God talks to you in your mind. The third time, put on the television. And then I felt it. It was like, you will put on the television now. And all of a sudden it was like, boom. And I literally fell to my knees. I could not move. And he said, put on the television. I was like, okay, all right. Okay, God, I get it. So I put on the television, put on SNL. Okay, all right, put it on. The clone singing, moment of surrender. He's singing, yeah. I'm like, okay, God, what? And then all of a sudden, God, stop talking and listen. Literally, I couldn't move. I can't explain it. I could not move. It's like the hand of God came down and I'm on my knees and I felt this pressure. I could not move. Then all of a sudden the clone, and I'll never forget this, does this rap. And the only way I can describe it is that I prayed to God and God put into this clone a message. And the clone just all of a sudden he rapped. And it was like he said things to me that was in my prayer. And after the clone did that rap, and I was like, oh my God, I felt the hand of God again. And then God said to me, don't ever doubt. And when I tell you to do something, do it. Okay. God fixed my ass. Yeah, he fixed my ass. I was stubborn. Oh, now God. Oh, boom. Yeah, you will. Now I could give to you verbatim. I remembered what the clone said, but it was not going to make any difference to you if I say what he said, because it's not like you don't know what my prayer to God was. But let's just say it was a direct answer to my prayer. Since that, when I felt the hand of God, I started crying. I turned up the television, I started crying, I bawled, and I never doubted ever since. So, our creator, God, can access clones. They can access anyone. Anyone can get a download from God. Anybody. All right, I'm going to say what the clone said. He said, one heart, but the song in life is short, but it's the longest thing you'll ever do. The worst, the curse was that your dreams came true. God is a mirror in which each man sees himself. Hell is a place where you don't need anyone's help. When I first met you, your face was like snow. When flame met in the ethers, no face. Wherever I went to, you wanted to go. I never wanted to came here. I came here for him. Your face, your grace, your can of mace in a case as you put your place down. A17 on the ground. In other words, put your gun on the ground because I was fighting him. Your faith in a clown. Your faith in a clown. What is a clown? What's a clown, folks? Clone. Clown, clone. Your faith in a clown. Don't leave me now. Don't leave me now. Don't leave me alone in this song. Oh, don't leave me alone in this song. That's another thing. There's a big connection with me and his music. Big connection. So, in other words, we meet in the connections with the music and we meet in the music. So he was basically saying, don't leave me now. Your faith in a clown. Don't leave me now. Don't leave me now. But I didn't know what clown meant. I'm like, a clown? What are you talking about? A clown? He's a circus? What's a clown? But now it makes sense. He was basically saying, your faith is in a clone. You're pissed off at a clone. It's all making sense now. So this has been going on for 30 some odd years. So all of a sudden, all the pieces in my life are falling together now. So this is how I know what I know. Can we talk about clowns now? What about clowns, Dennis? What about clowns? Are they all evil? All right, folks. Now that I've bared my life story and you all think I'm fucking nuts, does anyone have any questions? If you have any questions, put them in the chat. If else, I'm going to slip out the back jack. Anyone have any questions? Someone pick me off the floor. Dennis, pick you off the floor. Clowns are creepy, yeah, especially if you've seen it. Ever since I never had a problem with clowns, and then that movie It. Ugh. We love you. Well, I love you, Dennis. Oh, Dennis, I have a picture for you from my friend Lisa. She said I have to show this because of your Gandalf, your oh, that's King of Cups. He wants me to do another reading for him. Okay, but I'll do that afterwards. Okay. Not King of Cups. I'm sorry. That's Jason Soldier. I'll do a reading for him. Hold on a minute. I can't tell you how honored I am that Jason has me ask this questions for him. It's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I'm just very honored. I have officially proclaimed that Soldier of Light, Jason Ramirez, is the Tarot King. He's the Tarot King, okay? I have proclaimed it. He's the Tarot King. 4 hours. 4 hours. And then he did 2 readings after that. Energizer Bunny. Okay, anyway. Let me find your picture, Dennis, that I have from my friend Lisa for you. You said you have to show this to Dennis because he'll appreciate it. Okay. Do you see that? Can you see that? I don't know if you can see it. It's a I'll have to send it to you. Her placemat says no admittance except on party business. Can you see that? No admittance except on party business. I guess that's from Lord of the Rings. Can't see it. Well, it's her welcome mat, and it says no admittance except on party business. So I guess that must be from Lord of the Rings. Yeah, it's all glare. I'll email this to you, King. I'll email this to you, Dennis. But she's like, oh, she said, oh, Dennis was on yesterday. I watched him. He's so cute. I love Dennis. He's so adorable. Dennis. All the girls have crushes on you, Dennis. I hope you know that. They do. Girls have crushes on you, King. Just saying. I'll email it to you. You cannot pass. So anyways, you might want to get her. She said, "Oh my God, you have to take a picture and show this to the king." Yeah. And she subscribed to your channel. Just so you know, you're getting a little you get some fan base there, my king. You're gonna start cheating on me, King. I might have to get jealous of all these other handmaidens that are gonna come on my territory. Just you make sure, Dennis, that you make sure that I'm the number one handmaiden. That's all I ask. TJ, your head is swelled up now. You guys, I love you. And it's so funny. It's like I've been wanting to tell this story for a long time, but I mean, unless there's no other community that would believe this story other than you guys. So who else am I going to tell? I told my friend Lisa most of this, but not everyone is, you know, there's only, if you're not fully awake and you don't know a lot of the spiritual stuff, this stuff can seem like crazy and they think that I'm a nutbag, but anyway. So does anyone have any questions for me? If not, I'm going to sign off unless you want me to do, I will do one tarot reading for the soul tribe on one topic. So if you want me to do one reading for the collective, I will. Just put what topic you want me to do, and then I'll sign off. But it's not a personal question. It has to be a question that's something that the whole tribe will want to know. So put it in the chat. Sorry, something high vibe. Oh, of course it has to be high vibe. I'll message you on Telegram. All right. You know what? Pull cards on the movie ending soon. Okay, Chrissy wants to know if the movie will end soon. That's a good one. And yes, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be, it's going to be high vibes. I know I know it was a very dark and hard topic tonight, but it needed to be said. So if you're going to listen to YouTube music, I would suggest you don't listen to anything beyond 1987. Joshua Tree was it. Oh, another thing, With or Without You, there's a beast. Okay, so when With or Without You, the song came out, there's which by the way is not written for his wife. The B-side of that song, because remember when they used to have whenever songs came out, they used to come out on actual 45s and they would have the B-sides. So back in 1987, when the single With or Without You came out, the B-side of that song is called Luminous Times, Hold On to Love. If you just go and listen to that song and listen to the lyrics. And then remember what I told you tonight. And then before I do it, I would suggest you change your pants because you will shit thy pants. Just saying, because it will confirm everything that I said tonight. And there's a lot of songs. Just saying. All right. Well, I'm going to pull cards on the movie ending soon. Okay. Holy Spirit of God and Lord Yeshua HaMashiach, the Christ. And Archangel Michael, I'm asking for protection so that nothing evil and nefarious can trick my guides or this reading. All right. Oh, and another thing, Paul was very prophetic. Paul is also a time traveler. I forgot to mention that. Paul's a time traveler. And listen to the Joshua Tree album now. I suggest if you are a U2 fan, listen to the Joshua Tree album. But when you listen to it, I want you to look at the lyrics, read the lyrics as you listen to the whole album, and then remember what this conversation, what I said to you, and remember that he predicted everything that's happening now. So the song Bad, I'm wide awake, I'm wide awake, I'm not sleeping. He's talking about the baddies. What else? In God's country, the biggest one, in God's country. Okay, he talks about silver and gold. The greatest gift is gold. And at the end, he goes, naked flame, she stands the naked flame. I stand with the sons of Cain, burn the fire of love. People say, why is he saying he stands with the sons of Cain? Because the sons of Cain are the Cabal families. Every Cabal family is the lineage of Cain. Listen to the Joshua Tree album. Remember this conversation I had with you tonight, and just know that he was letting us know what was going on 36 years ago. The Joshua Tree is a godly prophetic album. He was disclosing everything that's happening now 36 years ago. Listen to In God's Country. In God's country, talking about the U.S. He says the greatest gift is gold. Here's another song. Okay, so no, it's the Joshua Tree, and then there was another one. Okay. The movie. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm like flipping out here. What's the name of the movie that came out? Oh, it was about the Joshua Tree. Shit. I watch it all the time now. Oh God, I have to look it up. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. They made a movie about the Joshua Tree tour. What's it called? Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Oh my God, what is the name of the thing that they made on the Joshua Tree tour? Hold on. What is the movie they made? Shit. What was the movie that you two made regarding the Joshua Tree tour?
According to Wikipedia, staged in
Rattle and Hum. I can't believe I Rattle and Hum. I can't believe I had a brain fart because I watch this movie almost every friggin' night. Rattle and Hum, okay? So Rattle and Hum, that album was probably the last album. Go and listen to Rattle and Hum. Okay, there's a song called Silver and Gold. Silver and Gold. Okay, so watch Rattle and Hum. If you watch the movie Rattle and Hum, the very opening of the movie, Bono is wearing a crucifix, and then he's wearing an upside down crucifix because they made him. Because if they, and he talks and he does this song called, it's a cover song, and it's a Beatles song, and it's Helter Skelter. Helter Skelter is about the cabal. It's about the reincarnation reel. When you get to the bottom, you go back to the top of the slide and you jump and you stop and you turn for a ride and you get to the bottom. See you again. Oh yeah. Don't you want me to love you? Come on faster. Now don't tell you. Listen to that. When you get to the bottom, you go back to the top of the slide and you turn and you jump and you go for a ride and you get to the bottom. Then I see you again. Helter Skelter is about the cabal reincarnation wheel. So if all you YouTube fans that thought that B was a bad guy, he's not, go and listen to Joshua Tree and the Rattle and Hum album. Look at your lyrics and you'll find that Paul David Houston, because I won't mention the name of the B because he's a clone, Paul was disclosing 36 years ago. Now that you know what I told you, go and listen to all those songs and you will shit your pants. I will tell you that when you listen to the Joshua Tree album, knowing what I told you tonight, have an extra pair of panties because you will shit thine pants. All right. I digress. I'm sorry, Chrissy. Just came to me because I want to make sure I remember everything. Because sometimes I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to say that. And I just kind of wung it tonight. I didn't put any notes. Okay. Holy Spirit of God and Lord Yeshua. What can the soul tribe expect for the next week? Will the movie be ending soon? Holy Spirit of God and Lord Yeshua, will the movie be ending soon? Will this horrible movie that we are in, that we are participates in, that we are participating in, will it end soon? Will the movie be ending soon? Of course, Chrissy will know because she is studying tarot as well that we can't predict exact dates. However, we know that we can do seasons and get an estimate. Pardon me, sorry. I blew my nose. Okay, we are almost there. Almost there. This is a 9. Okay, my Chrissy girl? So we know that 10 is completion. We're almost there. Almost there, folks. Okay? There's still a little more truth. We're in a very unique position. The white hats is still working. There's our king. King, you always come up in every reading. Will you just stop it and get out of my face, King? Everywhere I go, you even come up in my tarot. But yes, in the immediate future, my Chrissy girl, there's the death card. So this is coming up. So there is going to be a change that is facilitated by a big male in charge that's going to be orchestrated by the white hats. So according to this reading, I would say, yes, the movie is going to end really soon. If I would just join your harem, you want me to join your harem. Well, what will you offer me? If you want me to join your harem, my king, then you must keep me accustomed to the kind of like that life that I would want to. So if you want me to be part of your harem, you better, yeah, I'll think about it. You don't have to stop, Dennis. I'll stop. Oh, he'll let me be the madame. Really? So that, what does that mean? Does that mean I'll be the head chick? I'll be your number one girl? I'll be your number one girl? I'll be the madam. Oh my God, I love it. Um, I love it. I just love it. Dennis, Dennis, I love you. I really do. And Dennis has been awake for 30 years. So if anybody is the epitome of patience, it's Dennis. Thank you, Dennis, for putting up with all of us in the world for 30 years. I don't know how you've done it. But if we can't wait a few months, just think of Dennis. He's waited 30 years. 30, 33 years. Okay, Dennis has waited. He's been awake for 33, Dennis. Dennis, 33, just saying. That's not a coincidence that you've been awake for 33. So you know what I'm saying, 33. 33 is a big number. There's a reason why Jesus was crucified, 33. Also, you also know that that's a big Mason number because it has power, 33. King of Cups better step it up. That's right. Carrie says, King of Cups better step it up. That's right. You want me to be a part of your harem, you better make a lot more money. Because I do pretty well with my readings. I know. Seriously. Chrissy says, I don't know how you've lasted 33 years. I know, Dennis. You get a medal. You get the medal. One last thing I do want to address before I go. Moonchild meme. So Moonchild, I'll be reading Moonchild soon, and I look forward to meeting Vicky. I love reading with you guys because there's so many of you that I don't get to meet unless you get reading. So this will be great. All right. So one last thing that I do want to say is I know that, okay, so all of us that watched Jason Ramirez, his 4-hour epic live the other night, I know they were probably confused yesterday when they saw him on camera with Jason Bryan. I know that was a big mind fuck for people and it confused a lot of people. Now I did a reading and I got a download and I did a reading of what I thought happened. And I texted Jason Ramirez and he said exactly right on. It's not my story to tell. It's not anyone's story to tell. If Jason Bryan didn't tell you himself what happened, no one else is going to, and he's not going to. All I'm going to say is that I support Jason Bryan and I support him and Jason coming back together. I think it's beautiful that both of the Jasons are back together. I support Jason Bryan and I will be watching Jason Bryan. I will not be watching Kristen. Now, that being said, I don't support Kristen. I support Jason, Wonder Twin brother. Now, before people go, why? I'm telling you right now, I'm never going to fucking tell you because it's not my story to tell. However, you can figure out what happened. Go back and watch Jason's live and read between the lines. And that's all I'm going to say. Listen to what he said and read between the lines. Watch the live that both Jasons did yesterday and read between the lines. Think about it. After what? Now, Jason called out some people. Jason called out a lot of people on his channel. Then 2 days later, he's on with Jason. Read between the lines. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. I'm very happy that the two Jasons are back together. And that's all I'm going to say. All right, folks. What a mind fuck this weekend, huh? Arcana Shores is dead. Jason and Jason are back. What a mind fuck. This is life, folks. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? All right, folks. I love you very much. You have 2 more hours if you want to compete. My God. Okay, so I have to go on for 2 more hours if I want to compete with Jason. Let me tell you something. I am not going to compete with Jason because there is no competition. There's no competition. Soldier of Light is the king of tarot. I couldn't do past 2 hours, let alone 4 hours, just saying. So I will not compete with Jason, king of tarot. Yes. Jason was more humble, I think. He will have a bigger following moving forward. Yes. So, a lot of people are not who or what they seem. You could be the Queen of Tarot. I could be the Queen of Tarot. Well, oh, no, sorry. I think that's already been taken. It's the Queen of Ravens, but I certainly will try. I certainly will try. Yeah, you need to get Jason to join Discord. He's so busy. Yeah, he's traveling a lot, so it's so I don't know. But anyway, I look forward to another Soldier of Light. I love my soldier. We all love Soldier. He gives me a lot of love, and he's a great guy. Just saying. Um, but like I said, go back and watch the live. Listen to what he said, both lives, and read between the lines, and very intuitive people will understand what's going on without things being said. That will never be said. All right, folks. I am going to go now. I love you very much. Thank you for putting up with me. And yeah, we will be on Wednesday, 8 p.m. So we haven't picked a topic for the roundtable yet. I put up a questionnaire with about 4 different topics that Dennis came up with. So you guys, if you can vote on the topics. So far, let me see. I'll look up and see which topic is winning. So if you want to have a say in our topic for our roundtable, go to first of all, you have to subscribe to my channel. So if you haven't already, please like this video. Please like this video. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit the all notification. And let me look and see what topic is winning. Okay, so far the winning topic is, what does it mean to be a spiritual warrior? Okay, so I did a post earlier today with 3 topics as to which topic for our Wednesday roundtable. And it was how to handle stress, what does it mean to be a spiritual warrior, or fairies, gnomes, goblins, and other mythical beings. So far, what is winning is, what does it mean to be a spiritual warrior? So I'm going to leave this poll up, this questionnaire up until Wednesday morning, so you all get to have a say in the topics. And I'm going to do this weekly. So what will happen is that we will talk about things that you guys want us to talk about. And you get a say in what we say in our roundtable, the topic. So I think that's a good idea. Also, I'm going to be doing a live on Thursday at 1 p.m. with Gypsy Mama. We're going to be talking about healing. So I'm going to focus on the soul therapy, the therapy part, the healing of the mental and psychological. And then Gypsy Mama is going to talk about the actual energy, and she does actual healings. So Gypsy Mama's it's just going to be me and Gypsy Mama. It's going to be 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. We're going to be talking about healing. And I have to say, and I'll say this again. So Gypsy Mama did a live last week, and I posted it again on my channel. Now everyone knows that I was having issues with my ear and I did everything. I was on all kinds of, I went on steroids. I did everything, pressure points. I tried everything, ear drops, you name it. Now, Gypsy Mama, when she started her live, she took out a tuning fork. And when she did the tuning forks, I kid you not, the fluid in my ear started to clear out. So Gypsy Mama has gifts. She has gifts. So I am really looking forward to speaking with her in depth about her healing techniques and learning more about her healing. I know she is a phenomenal healer. I don't know her story, so I'm going to interview her, and it's going to be epic. So I'm really excited for Gypsy Mamas coming on the channel. Okay. And I want to thank all of you in the chat. Oh, there's my Cindy. Hi, Cindy. Chuck. I love you all. Thank you. Thank you guys for sticking by me. Thank you for letting me be me. Thank you for not having double standards and not being sexist like other people. Thank you for letting me be who I am and accepting me for who I am. You are the people that love me and accept me for who I am. I can't even say that for my blood relatives. So you are my true soul family. I love all of you guys so much. And I will say, if there's any of you out there that really need anything from me and you cannot afford it, please still reach out. We'll work something out. Hi, Ocean Odell. Talk about beautiful souls. He says, what does he say? He says, Gypsy Mama. Hold on, where are you? Ocean Odell says, Gypsy Mama is a beautiful soul. Yes, she is. And so are you. You are a very beautiful soul, Ocean Odell. Love you very much. Earthlink, Earthlink, my girl, or boy, I'm sorry, I don't know if you're a real boy, but you want make sure you get in touch with me because you won your 30-minute reading the other night. All right, I love you all. I will talk to you soon. See you on Wednesday, 8 p.m. And I don't, like I said, Gypsy Mama might be on the live on Wednesday. I'm not sure. She might have plans. So if Gypsy Mama is not on the roundtable this Wednesday, she'll be on the next one. So I don't know yet. I'll find out Wednesday morning. But we definitely have a live scheduled Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, folks. I love you all. Have a great night. And I'll talk to you soon. God bless you.